Hey, what's up? It's Teal Gamer with a video I've been wanting to make for a while, but I needed to get enough input before I made it, and I've been also asked when I'll be talking about the subject matter I'll be going over in this video. Now, I want to be forewarning everybody that if those of you that don't know or those of you that do know, I don't give a shit if my videos piss people off. I put forth the information that is ongoing. It's not an opinion, it's what's happening. And if people get mad at me for it, too fucking bad. I don't care. I'm not like other YouTubers. I say exactly what's exactly what's happening, whether you like it or not. You can't get mad at me for relaying information. Well, if you do, you're stupid. That being said, I'm going to be using some really nasty language in this, and I don't really care because this is what's going on, because enough is enough. Alright, so as you can see, I'll start by talking about Dragon Age the Veilguard, and I'm also going to be talking about YouTubers, some of the stuff that's ongoing, and some other video game companies. But right now, the main issue is Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, for those of you that don't know, I do not participate in one-sided arguments. I don't buy games that have gay shit in them, and I don't buy games that are on Steam, okay? So keep that in mind while I'm talking about this, because that's a problem amongst gamers, reviewers, and game companies as a whole. So the first thing here is, I don't give a shit if Dragon Age the Veilguard has very little gay dialogue or if it doesn't change anything. The fact that it's in the game in itself is where I draw the line, and so do a lot of other people. The problem is a lot of people can't say it. They don't want to say it because they're afraid of losing their status or some bullshit. So keep that in mind, because I'll be bringing that up with with channels that do reviews. So the first thing here is, companies like EA, BioWare, and Ubisoft purposely put this shit in their games to piss everybody off, and they do it because they can. There is no other fucking reason for doing this shit. I played Dragon Age Origins, I played Part 2, and I played Inquisition, alright? And while you can use the argument, this stuff has always had this stuff in it, it's always been woke, nobody gives a flying fuck about that. I'm talking about the language being used. Terms like non-binary, gay, they or these pronouns do not belong in this universe. They have never been used in this universe, and all of a sudden they just showed up because these companies that hire these stupid-ass gay people into these organizations to put this shit in there are purposely doing it to fuck with the storyline. This would be the equivalency of using gay and binary and trans and all this other shit in The Wizard of Oz. It simply does not fit in the universe and should never have been being used in this. What I find very funny is I'm surprised that people who aren't romancing anybody in this game aren't being called bigots or race or homophobic or whatever the fuck it is, because you're not dating these people in the game. Which brings me to one point that nobody's talking about here. I don't care what your standpoint is. One of the main things in a Dragon Age game is to romance the characters. Even though I've never romanced anybody in any of the games, because I just don't care for that shit in any of these games, the fact that if you're straight and you don't romance one or the other, you're not non-binary, you have cut out 90% of the dialogue in this game. And don't give me that shit, it doesn't cut out the dialogue. It does, which undermines the entire foundation of the whole bullshit here about going back to form. And by the way, back to form stands for back to formula, not the original form of the game, just so people are aware of that. But regardless of which way you want to look at it, form, as in the form of the game, or formula, back to it would mean you wouldn't be using these words in it, so that's a contradiction in and of itself. That brings me to the point on all of these companies and people putting reviews out. We caught Sweet Baby Inc., hiring people into these, or getting these people put into these positions, and, other people are getting hired over other people, okay? They don't want to speak out because they'll lose their job or whatever the fuck it is, okay? That's fucking illegal anyway. I don't know why anybody's not taking any of these companies to court, because that's fucking illegal. It's point-blank discrimination no matter which way you want to look at it. But that brings me to the point on reviewers. I'm not going to say any of these reviewers' name, but I'm just going to, because there's too many people have been talking about this, but I'm going to point something out here. These fucking reviewers on YouTube that are known, who didn't get review codes, are basically doing the exact same thing that people and companies are afraid to say something because they'll lose their status. The reason they can't even, the people that didn't get review codes don't even want to say the reason that they didn't get the review codes is because the people that were reviewing it aren't gay. You guys didn't get review codes because you're not gay, or you wouldn't talk about the gay shit that's in the game. That is the exact reason why you guys didn't get review codes, okay? And if you listen to any of the people talking about saying that they didn't get review codes, they can't even say that. And the reason they don't want to say that is the same reason nobody wants to say anything inside these companies is because they'll lose their job. They don't want to lose their status. Which brings me to the overall point of people talking about and complaining about this shit being in this game. Or in general. Or the industry, or these gay people taking over the fucking industry. If you guys have a problem with this, or you're going to be talking about how bad this shit is, stop buying and playing the games. Stop reviewing them, stop playing it, stop doing it. And that's why I said, remember what I said earlier. If any game is on Steam, I don't buy it, period. I don't even have Steam involved in my system, installed on my system at all, period. I want nothing to do with it. I don't give a shit what goes on in there. And any game that's on Steam, I won't play it. If there's another place to get it, I will. But I will not have Steam on my computer. In the same way, I will not buy a game that has gay shit put into it. I don't want any part of it, and that's the bottom line on this. Everybody that's complaining about this stuff or trying to point this out, you're not doing anything. If you want to actually do something, stop buying the games, period. If you have a problem with this or you're going to mention there's problems with this, or look at this, that, and the other thing, and you're going to make a big fucking deal out of it, stop buying the game, stop reviewing it, because I hear too many of these clowns saying, we didn't get a review code. We're afraid to say, we don't want to say why we didn't get a review code. We'll just try to be casual about this. Fuck off. Say the reason you didn't get a review code is because you're not gay, and you're afraid to say it because you don't want to lose your status with these companies. Well, we do this for a living. I don't give a flying fuck. If you have a problem with it, stop buying it. I have a problem with this, I don't buy it. That's the bottom line. Now, that brings me to the reason that these people are putting this shit into these games is because they want to piss you off. They do it on purpose. They all full well know that there's no reason to be putting these words into these games. They know that. There's no fucking reason for any of this shit. And any moron that tries to say, oh, Dragon Age is a good game, it's not. This game is fucking garbage because it has gay shit in it. Well, it's not that much. It has gay shit in it. They don't... All Dragon Age games have the stuff in it. But they went overboard with it, so deal with it. Now, as far as the graphics goes, the graphics can be fucking whatever they want. But right now, it looks like Fable. Let's just point blank say it. And one of the other fucking characters looks like Rocky Dennis from the movie Mask. If you don't know who that is, look that up. I'm not going to put that on the screen. But I'm just going to tell you this. This is fucking hilarious. And so... that brings me to the problem with these fucking games in general. When one of them gets into it, they all start getting into it. Okay, when you have BioWare pulling this shit with all this other stuff and making it this disgusting, and yes, this is disgusting. If you have a fucking problem with it, too bad. If you're going to cram this shit into people's faces, you don't get to tell people they can't say it back. So, this is fucking disgusting what's happened to this. But I don't really give a shit because the gaming industry is all fucked up anyway. Now, the issue here is they're going to put this shit inside the game, which brings me to the point of Ubisoft and everybody talking about this Black Samurai. The reason Ubisoft did this is because they're racist. Going through and finding the one black person that they could put in there wasn't because it's diverse, it's because it's fucking racist. And Ubisoft did it on purpose because they knew the Japanese culture would have a fucking problem with this. And that brings me to another point on, I was discussing this with another YouTuber who was live streaming. And he's like, well, what's the big deal about a black character in a Japanese game? The fucking idiot couldn't even state. This isn't about a black character in a Japanese game. This is about a black samurai. And they started trying to dance around the issue of, well, you know, to call it a samurai. The fucking thing was the guy was a black samurai. And for those of you who don't know, he wasn't actually a black samurai. He was pretty much put in there out of curiosity factor. But Ubisoft, in their, quote, historically accurate games, for the most part, cannot be excused for doing this. If you're in America and you say, hey, well, what's the fucking big deal? It's just a black character and a samurai. then you shouldn't have an issue with somebody saying, well, what's the big deal if fucking Ubisoft made a game with Washington, the president, being black, or Abraham Lincoln being black? Somebody said to me, oh, come on, there's a difference. No, it's fucking not. You can't have the argument of what's the big deal, and then when somebody puts it into your culture, you start having a problem with it. I never said there's a problem with that. I was drawing a parallel, because if fucking somebody wants to make Washington black, okay, it's not going to stop anything. If you are making Washington black or you're racially changing something, you are a fucking racist. Period. Bottom line. This isn't diverse. This is fucking racist. And so this is what people need to start understanding. If you are race swapping a character, you are a racist motherfucker. Bottom line. And anybody who thinks that's okay because this is diverse, you're all a bunch of racists. You don't even realize that you're feeding into racism doing that. So if you have a problem with racism, you should need to have a problem with them race swapping characters. And on top of that, for the last piece on this, I'm going to close with this. For all of you fucking morons who want to keep using the word diverse, inclusion, learn what the fucking word means. Inclusion means everything. If you exclude somebody from an inclusion, you are a fucking moron for even trying to argue that point. You cannot have inclusion while excluding something and then go, well, but. No, you either include everything or you don't. And for those of you that fucking want to argue, like I'm going by one of the reviews that somebody did. Well, I was blown away by the Top Scars. I feel so included in this. Fuck off. You feel included in this where they fucking make the game about you? And finally, there is no such thing as a Asian elf. Okay, I don't give a flying fuck what anybody says. Dragon Age does not have Asian elves. Dragon Age the Veilguard, that is an Asian elf. No matter what you want to look at it, that is a fucking Asian elf. Look on the screen right here. If you take a look at the very top left of the corner, or I should say, if you look at the dragon's open mouth and then you look diagonally, there's a, I don't know who the fuck that is, but if you look basically right below Varric, the dwarf there, that's an Asian elf. I don't give a shit when anybody says elves are not Asian. So get it through your head. They're not Asian inside the Dragon Age universe. They never have been. They never will. And for somebody to do that is fucking racist. That's like, it's fucking ridiculous. So, if you guys don't understand this shit or what's going on here, you're a bunch of morons. The bottom line here is these game companies are doing this shit because the game companies themselves are racist. And if you're putting people inside these companies to get this shit crammed into the game, they're fucking racist too, and they are a problem. And anybody that's in any of these gaming companies, I don't feel bad for you if you stick around in there, because you chose to go to work in these companies, and then when you saw it being done, you fucking did absolutely nothing about it. So you spoke up. You should at least speak up and lose your job while your integrity is intact, or don't say anything, but you have no right to complain what's going on in there when you hang around in there. And I understand that you're in there for years and everything else, but let me give you a true story about what happened with me. I got fired from my security job because I was told to do something by the company that when I did it, I got in trouble for it. And I told the guy, I says, hey, my conscience is clear. You guys told me to do A, B, C, and D, and when I did A, B, C, and D, now you're questioning why I did A, B, C, and D. So I says, my conscience is clear. If you're going to fire me for that, go well, but I'm not going to stick around for this. But, and I says, I understand you're not going to lose a client for one worker. I get that, but just be aware of what you're doing. But my conscience is clear. I have no problems doing that. And I am not in that situation, but I would never put myself in that situation. And if I was, I would leave. And that brings me to the, the final point on this is that all of you guys need to shut the fuck up or stop buying this stuff. It's one of the two. Stop buying it or shut the fuck up. These companies that are doing this are racist. And as far as the journal, that's what I was trying to remember, sorry. The last part I'm going to get to this is that there is no such thing as a gaming journalist. Journalism is dead. It doesn't exist. And everybody that keeps using the word journalist needs to fucking have their YouTube channel struck for using that word. Like, serious consequences need to start being applied to this shit, okay? If these companies want to do this shit to their game, oh, it's destroying the game. They know it's going to destroy the game, and they don't give a flying fuck, okay? They don't care. So, That's basically the end of my rant. TL Gamer signing off. If I offended you with this, too fucking bad. This is what's going on. So you have no business getting mad at me. I'm just reporting on what is happening, except I have the balls to state this. TL Gamer signing off. Have a good night. Or day, wherever the hell you are. Take care.